The communists are growing and the right wing is scared.
The Revolutionary Communist Party has arrived.
Hey everyone, my name is Julianna from the Revolutionary Communist Party, and we've been making some strides recently, so much so that we've been noticed by Alex Jones from Infowars. We got a shout out from his guest star. I don't even know who this person is. He's Canadian, but they're talking about the Revolutionary Communist Party and why young people in Canada are gravitating towards communism. So let's take a look.
In the meantime, and keep an eye on this in America as well, guys. I don't know what's going on down there. I can't keep track of everything. But in Canada, and apparently it's a global movement, the Revolutionary Communist Party has arrived.
Us.
They've had their founding Congress this month, and they're already active across the country calling for armed, violent revolution. And who are they clamoring to? The migrants, the migrant hordes of people that demand stuff and things. Well, here comes the Communist Party with lots of money and organization. They've been building up and forming up for the last 4
Okay, so there's a few things to address here. I want to start with our founding Congress. Yes, we did have our founding Congress recently in Montreal. We had around 400 communists from across Canada attend. It was literally coast to coast, comrades from Victoria to Halifax. And yeah, we discussed how to prepare for a revolution. We ended the Congress with a march through the streets of Montreal. It was super exciting, super enthusiastic. So if you're a communist and you haven't already joined us, please check that out. Comrades shared lessons from participating in the encampments for Palestine. And yeah, we just generally discussed how the crisis in Canada and internationally, the cost of living crisis, war, the genocide in Gaza, how all of these things are preparing the way for massive class struggle. And we discussed how we as communists can intervene in these movements to lead them to victory. And our friend is correct, it is a global movement. We do in fact have comrades in America organized with the Revolutionary Communists of America. Recently they put out a video of them marching through the streets of New York to launch the Revolutionary Communists of America, which got over 200 million views across platforms. So yeah, communism is really on the rise. I should probably address what he said about the so-called migrant hordes. This is something that the right wing do all the time. They lie about, an immigration crisis, how migrants are coming to, erase our culture, take our jobs. This guy even said earlier in the video that it poses a security threat to both Americans and Canadians, the fact that immigrants are coming here. They just use this rhetoric to distract from the real issues, the class issues in society, the cost of living crisis, like I said. And it's actually not even just the most rabid right-wing reactionaries that do this. Even the Trudeau liberals are blaming the crisis of rent, housing unaffordability. They're blaming this on international students from India and China. So yeah, when the capitalist system becomes completely unlivable and the ruling class doesn't have a solution, they basically point to other oppressed people and say, hey, this is where your problems come from, not us. And also, of course, our friend raised a concern about violent revolution. I'm sure he's very concerned about violence, but weirdly, he doesn't mention all of the violence that the capitalist system and that imperialism creates. Again, the genocide in Gaza, over 30,000 people have been killed by the Israeli regime with the aid of US imperialism, Canadian imperialism. Over 100,000 have been injured. The universities, hospitals, all of these things have been destroyed in Gaza through the capitalist system, through imperialism. And there's also what Engels referred to as social murder under capitalism. People not having enough medicine, not having enough food, not having the things they need to get by. These people aren't necessarily being shot or stabbed to death, but they're dying not even for a lack of resources in the world. We produce enough food collectively to feed 10 billion people, and yet people starve to death every day. Yeah, and so this is just complete hypocrisy. When communists talk about ending oppression, ending exploitation, the ruling class screams violence to scare the working class, to scare oppressed people, so we don't fight against our own oppression, so we don't overthrow the system that is killing people every day. Let's get back into it.
Go to marxist.ca. Absolutely, marxist.ca.
Thanks for the website shout out. Go to marxist.ca if you want to read a ton of articles about the international situation, Canadian issues, all from the perspective of the working class, all from a communist perspective. So yeah, marxist.ca.
.ca. Absolutely, marxist.ca. And you can see it all there. They're going to university campuses. The RCMP in this country have said, and I'm on the FBI's watch list apparently, by the way, so I may not even be allowed in America. In Canada, the RCMP, our version of the FBI, our federal police, has said the number one threat and risk in the future is that when regular Canadians find out that they are never going to own a home, they're never going to have a good standard of living.
By the way, that report, start over. That came out a month ago.
Sure.
The media confirmed it was real, explained the government admits the collapse is coming. That's the main threat, which they've helped engineer. Explain that. We don't want to just blaze over that.
Sure. Yeah, well, that came from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and that was their top threat assessment and concern for the future, the immediate future, is that when that happens, when all these people, especially, and where are the communists recruiting? They're not going to old age, old homes, senior centers or anything like that. They're in universities, and they're handing out to these, it would have worked on me. I didn't know.
Yeah, so I actually want to address this point because this is actually completely true, what they're saying about the RCMP report. I'll just read a quote from the report. The coming period of recession will accelerate the decline in living standards that the younger generations have already witnessed compared to earlier generations. For example, many Canadians under 35 are unlikely ever to be able to buy a place to live. There was also a recent OECD report that predicted that Canada will be the worst performing advanced economy over the next decade. And the main reason that they cite for this, lack of growth in Canada is actually low labor productivity. Basically, what this means is that Canadian capitalists are not investing in productive activity. The so-called advanced system that creates jobs, these so-called job creators. They're not investing in anything. They're not creating any jobs. Instead, they're speculating on real estate, making it impossible for young Canadian workers to ever own a home, like this report mentions. We can feel the decline of the system every day when we look at our grocery bill, our utility bill, when we wait 20 minutes for a bus that's already overflowing. Yeah, if capitalism is so great, I'd love to hear from our friend what it actually has to offer people and why no one should be looking to communism. Capitalism is so great. Let's get back into it.
All that had already been deployed a couple of times at that stage, and had some issues and problems with it. But you've got the soft heads of 20-something kids, idealistic. They want to do good in the world. They want to save people. They want to help. And here comes the nice red banner of all the solutions. Here, just do this and just come with us. And to each according to his need and from each according to his ability, right? And all of this crap. So you're going to have a generation of people that can't find anywhere to live, can't get a good job.
Wow, what a terrible what a terrible thing. From each according to his ability to each according to his need. What an evil, terrible thing for people to, contribute what society actually needs, work to improve the world and to improve themselves, rather than just working long, unnecessary hours to make ends meet and to enrich a tiny minority of individuals who are already extremely wealthy. Okay, what a terrible thing to want to get rid of that system, to dream of an alternative. I also just want to point out how this person is speaking about young people, how he's talking down to young people. I was listening to News Talk 1010. I was listening to the radio yesterday with my mom, and they were talking about the UFT encampments, the encampments against the genocide in Gaza and against Palestinian oppression in general. And yeah, this right-winger was talking about, 22-year-olds whipped up in a frenzy. These are people who are protesting mass murder, mass starvation, mass destruction. And here come the representatives of the ruling class to tell them, you don't know what you're talking about, you're stupid. Yeah, that's definitely how you win young people over, is you just talk down to them and say the things that they care about don't matter. Okay.
Can't afford it, can't go on vacation, can't provide any kind of life. How are you going to have and raise a family if you can't even feed yourself? You can't. So you're a slave, essentially, right? So this communist marketing is going to take off. It's going to do really well in Canada. We're going to have a lot of problems with them. They are violent. They are terrorists. They will kill people. They will burn farms. They have been. It's arson season again, and elections are coming up, so stand by for lots of wildfires across the country.
Which is now confirmed to be the communists, and they're attacking Tesla.
Okay, if you're still watching this, I don't think I even need to, say that they're lying. I think you know why they're lying. Again, literally just describe the problems of capitalism. They have no alternative but to lie about the communists, say we're violent, say we're arsonists. That's a new one. I've never heard that one before. Yeah, throughout this video, Alex Jones and his friend have literally listed out all the reasons that people are attracted to communism, it's because capitalism is failing. We as communists, all we have to do is tell the truth. Tell the truth about the capitalist system, about the imperialist wars. We just have to describe reality. It was Che Guevara who said, "It's not my fault, reality is Marxist." So to Alex Jones, this guy, all the right-wingers, you are the ones that have to lie. You're the ones that have to lie about capitalism, about communism, to continue peddling this grift, to make your profits, to sell your supplements that don't work. All we have to do is tell the truth. And just by doing that, we're growing. We're growing in numbers, we're growing in enthusiasm, we're growing in revolutionary optimism, because we know that our ideas are on the rise. There's been a rise in strikes recently around the world. The encampment movement at universities across the world for Palestine is showing that the youth are sick and tired and they want to fight back against the imperialists and the system that they promote. Communist ideas are becoming more popular, the Revolutionary Communist Party is growing, and this is not because of some nefarious plot, it's not because of George Soros, it's because of the rise of class struggle. The working class and youth are fighting back against this system. But in order to win, we need to be organized. If you hate capitalism, if you want to fight for a livable future, a decent future for humanity, join the Revolutionary Communist Party. We are organizing in campuses and neighborhoods and workplaces across this country. We're also part of the Revolutionary Communist International with sections across the world, building revolutionary communist parties to overthrow this system once and for all and put the working class in power. So you know what to do.
Marxist.ca. Absolutely, marxist.ca. And you can see it all there.